I'm not young enough to know everything. Oscar Wilde. Hey, hustlers! Welcome to another episode of The Hustle Show. My name is Christian and I am the host of The Hustle Show. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I'm super thrilled and excited to have you here in today's episode number 20. The story that I'm going to share with you, it's amazing, it's incredible because it's this young entrepreneur that started her company when she was 9 years old. Okay, it was her first venture, it was her first business, and it actually did not start as a business idea. It started out just her trying to figure out to come up with her own products to use them on her own. And it's crazy to hear the journey of how it became a business. And not only that, but it became a super big national brand nowadays. And the person that I'm talking about her is Zandra Cunningham. And you really need to hear this because I always say there is no appropriate age to start your business. And most of the times we hear a lot of people saying I'm too old or maybe I'm too young. Well, this young entrepreneur started her business at 9 years old, and she has been crushing it in the industry, and she has been doing a lot of inspirational for other young entrepreneurs to take action. And that's why I wanted to have her here, because that's exactly what we do here at the Hustle Show. So before we jump into the call, remember that all the show notes and a way to connect with Zandra today will be available at thehustleshow.co/TSH20. You can go there and find many resources that we put out there for you. And there will be a link to connect with Zandra as well, okay? And don't forget to hit the subscribe button right now, because you will be helping a lot of other people to find the show and to find the motivation that they need to take action on their dreams and to maybe leave their job, or if they already started their side hustle or their business, to keep pushing and to keep going, okay? So hit that subscribe button right now, and it will mean the world to me, and I would really appreciate it, okay? So without further ado, let's jump into the call with Zandra from ZandraBeauty.com. All right, hustlers. So in today's episode, we have Zandra. Welcome, Zandra.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm super excited and thrilled to have you here today. And your story, it's such an amazing story that I just can't wait to all the hustlers to listen to. Because, I mean, you started your business at 9 years old. What was that like?
That was crazy. So it wasn't my intention to start my business at 9 years old, or me to be involved in business at 9 years old. But the story is, when I was 9 years old, I loved lip balm so much that every day before my dad went off to work, I'd ask him to buy me a new one. You see my lip gloss is popping now because I love
Right?
lip balm and all that day. And one day he just got tired of me asking him to buy me more lip balm, and then he told me no. He said, "No, you're not. I'm not gonna keep buying you any more lip balm, and you should just make your own." And of course, he said that as a joke, but that got me thinking, like, how do you actually make lip balm? What goes into it, and how does it just appear in stores? So that's when I took the idea to my mom, and we started to watch tutorials and YouTube videos and things like that. And soon we ordered a kit, and I made my first lip balm, and I've been hooked ever since.
I love that. I mean, you basically you were trying to make them from your own, right?
Right, right.
Right. So that you would avoid going and asking for money.
Yep.
I love that.
Really
That's
wasn't
such a
even
great.
about money first. It was, well, it soon became about money, but it really just became all about just making like my own lip balm and things like that. So I wouldn't have to go buy it. And then I started passing by my grandfather's church, and then one day a lady gave me $1 for hers, and that got me thinking, like, oh my goodness, I can make money off of this too. I can get lip balm, and I can make more money to get more ingredients to make lip balm. So that's when my mom and dad, they enrolled me into a kids business program when I was 10, and that's really when the whole business mindset was born.
Wow, that's such an amazing story, because I mean, we all hear that, a lot of entrepreneurs out there and people that are listening, they have the tendency since they're a little kid, but not necessarily start a brand. And in your case, you did start not only a business, but you grew a brand to a whole different stratosphere, going national. And I'm super excited. I mean, I just can't wait to start digging a little more. So when you were 9, you started the company. But by what age did you start actually to sell them to the public?
So actually, like, my first encounter with selling it to the public came from the kids business program, because they set us up with it's like a week long boot camp kind of thing of all entrepreneurial things, and each summer they connect us with, it's a program during the summer, and they connect us with our local Broadway market here in Buffalo. And we usually have a section from the farmers market or the Broadway market, and that's where we basically set up our table, and they taught us like we had to have business cards and sit in front of our tables and introduce ourselves to customers, and make sure we borrow from the big mom and dad, and we had to pay $2 for the table and things like that. And I made my first $82, and that's when like I was actually selling to the public. And ever since then, like I've been selling to the public. So that's really when I started. But in regards to like wholesaling and to get inside stores, I really didn't get inside stores until I rebranded my company in 2015. So yeah.
So it was all about, yourself doing the end-to-end consumer, just trying to promote your products to consumers and finding ways to sell them, right?
Right.
Cool. When you were starting, I mean, as you were growing, did you have any doubts that you could actually sell this products that you were making yourself, you and your mom, right?
Yes. So I don't really feel like it was doubts. It was just more like, is this really going to be a thing? That's the one question that we always had to ask. Like, is this going to really turn into something? None of us really imagined it was going to turn into this, until as successful as it is today. But it's something that I am, and that I was really passionate about at the time. So it really was a hobby for me, instead of it being all about business. And then it turned into business, and then that's where like it kind of transitioned in that sort of way. So I would say there was some doubts in how far along we can get, because of the limited resources that we had here in Buffalo. We're rising, and this is a city to come to now. In 2017, I can probably say that Buffalo is a city to come to, it encourages entrepreneurship, and it embraces me, and embraces just all about. We have like one of the largest business competitions here in Buffalo, 43 North. But at the time when I was 9, 10, 11, it was more like, okay, people thought it was really weird. Buffalo's kind of small, and teen entrepreneurship wasn't a word when I was 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and things like that.
Right.
Thing. But it was not even like, it was unknown. It was like extremely, extremely rare. So I think the doubt came from, okay, I quickly aged out of that kids business program. There was like nothing for me left. There was no other kids things. I was used to being like the only kid in the room and knocking down doors, and being able to be like in the same position as learning the same things and involved with business, but at a young age too. So it took a lot of learning, and a lot of letting go of the fear of not being able to like be accepted and things like that. But it all turned out good. So
it sounds to me like you were at the right place at the right time, right? Because all these competitions were starting out when you were starting out.
Right.
That's awesome. Because I mean, for example, here I'm in El Paso, Texas, and you there's a lot of companies, right? Small businesses and stuff, but I don't think entrepreneurship is very strong here when it comes to community, and there's not a lot of support. So, it's so good to hear that, Buffalo being a smaller city, compared to the big ones, you had that great support, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Did you participate in those contests?
Oh, in the 43 North, no, I'm not old enough. You have to be 18.
Ooh.
But it's been around for about 2 years now, I believe.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So it's pretty new.
Yeah, maybe longer. I'm not sure. But either way, it's one of the largest business competitions in the world. People from all over the world come and try to participate in it. And the prize is $5 million. So
wow.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I think it's really cool, because the cool thing is that we're still pouring into Buffalo, if that makes sense. Because the thing is, once you get like accepted or entered inside the pitch competition, you have to come and move to Buffalo. And if you win, you have to like move here for a year starting up your business with the money that you won. So it's cool.
So, well, you were trying to figure out things, and you were on your journey to building this amazing company that you own now, and you're running. How was that roller coaster of emotions going on? You being so young, and I know your parents were the backbone of you, and helping you and supporting you. But how did you feel through all those years of entrepreneurship, trying to figure out things and trying to grow the company to where it is now? Was it hard, or was it super easy? What do you think about the journey?
It's definitely been an emotional roller coaster. Starting out, we were in that, I was in that excited state, like, oh my goodness, like, this is so new, and like, it's my passion, and like, oh my goodness, this is something that I really want to do, and it's cool that I'm making lip balm, and like, I was in like the happy, fun phase. And then going into middle school, and then being involved socially, like in my school, and like, want to hang out with my friends and becoming like a teen and things like that. The business was kind of like, after work. And I was kind of in that like, I don't want to do this. And I'd rather just go to the movies and things like that. But I already committed to the business, and it's something I was still really passionate about. But at the same time, I was still really passionate about hanging out with my friends. So I struggle with that, especially with my parents letting me know that like, no, you can't go because if you already made a commitment, you have to work at this show or you have to do this. And then we went into, okay, now I'm really interested in learning about business phase. So that's when I really got involved in actually that's when I got accepted into the University at Minority Business. Oh my goodness, University at Buffalo's Women in Minority Business Program. That's an all-adult college course class, and I got in there when I was 13. So that was like a year-long program, and that was really what I learned, basically the ins and out of business and my business as well. That's when I created my business plan. That's really what I got everything together and made and created Zandra what it is today and what it looks like on the shelves and stores right now. So that was more like, okay, growing up, I making those sacrifices became easier, and I was kind of like cool and happy and all those good things. And then 2015, 2016, when the business has been taking off, it was cool, exciting, but it's really all the press and things like that was amazing, but it's a lot of work. It shows that it is hard, because even when the cameras and things are off, like, it's still a lot of work, but even when they're out, it's still a lot of work. So it's kind of like tiring at sometimes, but it's still really fun and really cool experiences that many people would die to like just be on the experiences that I've been on. So it's definitely been amazing roller coaster, and emotional one too. So right now we're in the I would say in the cool and exciting. I mean, I'm getting ready to be a senior, so high school's about to be over. So
That's awesome. I usually interview, entrepreneurs in their 20s, 30s, or later on. I think you're the first teen for sure on the show. So that's exciting. And I've never heard, most of the sacrifice that we all make, it's related to family or, college, dropping out or things like that. But, it's funny to hear the stories of how you went through it when you were so young.
Yeah.
And, missing out on all those fun activities that you couldn't because you had the commitment. So it's super interesting to hear those stories.
Mine is definitely not family. My family is really involved inside the business. So sometimes I need a vacation from them.
I agree with that. Hopefully they're not listening.
No, my mom, she's in the room. So
okay, oops. So, what was that moment like when your company started exploding in 2015? What happened there?
That was really like a surreal moment, because it was like, oh my goodness, now the hard work and things are paying off. And then it was kind of like, oh my goodness, it's a thing now. Like, there's like no going back from this now. So it's kind of like really exciting and scary at this point. Okay, so now it's out there. Now the whole world knows about Zandra, and now it's living up to the hype. Even though we were living up to the hype, it's more like real now. It's really more real. And it was like starting to get into stores and start getting major wholesale accounts. And it's like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Now we have to go back and make all this stuff.
Right.
So it was definitely like, it was definitely surreal and even better living it. It's really cool and amazing. It does take a lot of hard work, and it taught me a lot too, about things that we would do differently next time and how more prepared we'll be. But it's definitely been amazing too, because many businesses don't last within like the first 3 years or things like that, statistics show. But I've been in business for 7 years, so it's amazing. So
I bet it is. And that's funny. Some of the goals for product related brands, is to get on the shelves. And then the funny thing is, once you got on the shelves, now it was go and manufacture the product so they could get on the shelves.
Right.
So how was that like? Was it chaotic to produce at such bigger level?
Yes, absolutely. When we got that first 8,000 units of this amount of product, it was one of the biggest orders yet. And it was really amazing, but it was also really like, oh my goodness, we have to make these products. And that was and it was crazy. It was during the holiday season because the store paper source, they wanted it in their stores for the holidays. So they wanted it out before, they wanted it early October, and then they wanted it early November. So it was kind of like going back and forth with different times, and it was already busy. And it was already busy for us because that's our busy season, the holiday season. And I was out traveling, speaking, and things like that. So in those 3 weeks, I was gone most of the time. So we called basically everybody we knew, got them in the studio, not with making, but really with just like packaging and labeling and things like that, because making 1,200 lip balm of each scent is kind of, you get over
Crazy.
it. Really.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like 3 weeks of absolutely no sleep. Like literally staying into the studio until like 5 o'clock, going home, showering, and go back. Like it was crazy. But it was
That's so
actually
amazing.
it was amazing too, because it's just like we did it at the end. It was like, thank God.
That's so amazing to listen to that story. And by the time that this happened, did you already have like a facility with production and everything? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that kind of helped, right? Because you started where at your house?
So yeah, so when I was like 9, 10, 11, 12, actually just 9, 10, and 11, I was at home in my kitchen, and then we moved out to the sunroom, and then we were like, okay, now it's time for us to actually get a space. So then we went to this small incubator space in called the Foundry here in Buffalo, and that was nice for a few years, and then the demand, we just needed more space, and we were talking, and we're doing a rebrand. I wanted my products to sell inside stores. In order to do that, we need to be GMP compliant and other things to be certified with the state, and like just health codes and laws and things like that. So that's when I moved into the studio I am in now. It's a 1,300 square feet studio, and everything's all stainless steel and GMP compliant and all those good things. And that's where all the product is produced.
That's so cool. And how big is the company right now as far as employees?
So we do add on a whole lot of employees for the holiday season. My parents work there too, so those are 2 employees. And then my uncle is also part of my employee staff because he comes and cleans. And then we also have Mayor Summer Youth. It's like this Mayor Summer Youth program that we have, and we have some kids from there that are going to be working for us, have been working with us for the summer. So
That's so cool. And what type of role do your parents have played during this journey with you?
So a huge role. So my mom, she's my COO. She's the chief operational officer, and also the chief organizational officer / manager, same thing. And then my dad, he's a CFO, so he handles all business, finance, and things like that. All the books.
He's the numbers guy.
Yep.
The one that is gonna yell if you had big expenses, and that's so cool. And I mean, you were so busy that you basically did not have family time. There was no time for family. So it was so cool for you to have family inside the business, right? You were having bonding time while you were building the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So like when we go, like our family like trips off for like a vacation, it's usually like during like the school year. Like when I have to go like for business, we'll like stay a couple extra days and make it like a trip out of it wherever we go. And yeah. And usually we were all together, and they're all supported by my grandparents and things like that too. So they come and help at the studio whenever they want, or just to pick up product or whatever it is. So we do see them often, and we all work together all day, every day. So we got a lot of family time.
Right, you do, yeah. That's so cool. So through the journey and the ups and downs, and we talk a lot about this, the entrepreneurial mountains that are super high, and then the valleys that are super low. Did you ever have that thought that maybe you should just, it got too hard, or was there a moment that it got too hard that you felt like you should quit and go do something else or something like that?
There have been those days where I felt like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Like think of different ways, like, oh, like I have lazy thoughts, but so I haven't had one of those like, oh my goodness, well, like, should I actually like stop the business because like a failure type of thing? It's really been like sit in the bed, wake up the next morning because I'm so tired. Like, if I didn't have this business, what else would I be doing? Would I be able to sleep longer? Would I be doing this or would I be doing that? So like, those are like, so I've had those days where it's just like over and done with it, but everybody has those days because
Yes.
it's not easy at all. So those are big kind of like lazy, like kind of like thoughts, but there's never been like, I see the business has too much potential. So it hasn't been like, there hasn't been like, no, I think because of a failure, it hasn't been like, I think we should stop the business or things like that. It hasn't been like that.
It's been
Because
on the other side of the spectrum, right? I mean, you've been so busy that you were actually wondering what life would be if you were doing something else.
right. But then I also thought like if I wasn't going to be doing this, I was going to be doing something else. So it was going to make me busy. So either way, either way, my life is going to be like this, crazy and busy, and I like that too. I like being able to say like I'm busy and I have other things to do because.
And out of all of the busy days and weeks and months that you've had, what would you say would be one of those moments? I mean, an example of one of the moments that you felt super bad about. I mean, stressed or depressed or anything like that that you would consider to be one of your downtimes, the biggest downtimes through the journey. Do you have one of those?
I would say, closer to like so for the business for as seasonal, so like so it's really busy during the holiday season, and then coming off of there it's kind of like, okay, now we have a break, we have time to relax and time to regroup and get the systems back in order, and then during like early spring-ish, it was kind of like it's time for prom and I'm homeschooled. So like, and it was like all my friends, and it was like, oh, so now I have time to like hang out with my friends and things like that, but they're in school, they have midterms, they have exams and things like all like the normal school things that I was dealing with the other 2 years. And every single time that they had free time, I was out of town working, and then when I had free time, they were in school working. So it was kind of like, oh my goodness, like I really have no life other than work. So I feel like that was like a time where it's just like, this is it. But then I also kept thinking like I was only 16 at the time, so I have time, and hopefully by I'm 21, I'll be able to travel and do whatever I want. So, so yeah, so I felt that was a time. I mean, usually because that's more of like our slow off season, time for us to regroup and think of and how to get into just planning to get more wholesale accounts and things like that. So it hasn't. So I feel like that was like a downtime for me, but not really like a really depressed mode thing. No.
I mean, it's inspiring to hear your story. I mean, you definitely sacrificed a lot of years of things that I would say, they're fun. I mean, they're absolutely fun to have. And like I said, this is the first time I interview and we talk about stories like that. So it's very inspiring to hear your story and everything that you're doing. And, but I'm happy that you are, you're a visionary and you're always thinking ahead of the game and you're looking to the future, not to the right now. So when you had that downtime of not having your prom, you were basically telling yourself, I mean, when I'm 21, I'm going to be traveling the world. So just hang tight.
I can't take full credit for myself for that because my parents had a lot to do with that. With me thinking like, because I was like, I can't even go to prom. Like I was just like, well, I could have went to prom, but it was a mess with that. But still, like, I was like, normally, like, this wouldn't have been an issue or anything like that. But they were like, listen, come time next year, you'll be able to host your own prom. Like, it's not that serious. So they help with the thinking ahead in the future and things like that. So
that's awesome. I mean, it's so important to always have somebody backing you up, and definitely you grew, the business grew, you grew, and your parents were always there for you. So that's I think that's priceless to have somebody to rely on. And for those bad moments, because we all have them. I mean, you can feel on top of the mountain one day, and then the next day you're just overwhelmed and it's too much. And you had the support of your parents. So That's awesome that you have that support from them.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely been a huge help. I feel like I wouldn't have gone as far as I am now as quickly as I did
Right.
without them. So yeah.
That's just awesome. So what do you, to everything that you've done, what do you think is the secret to your success, to that everything that you've built? What would be the number one reason that you think that got you to where you are right now?
I would say my drive to create change. All my company is really about girl empowerment, inspiration. So, being able to make my company a vehicle for change and actually make a difference in somebody else's life, and be that voice for some other girl who's fighting for the right to go to school, and being that voice for her or for any other girl who can't speak for themselves. I think that has been a huge like push for me. And I feel like I do create change, and I feel like I inspire other people to just be inspired and to create more change and things like that. And I think that's really huge, because a lot of people think like, oh, times will change or whatever, but we don't really change unless we want them to change, unless we do some action to change. So I think that has really been a huge factor for me, and something that I feel like I have inside me, and that's been like it's kind of like a gift for me. That being able to create change and inspire hope, and just be like, okay, I heard your story and I heard what you're doing. That inspired me to do this, or that inspired me to actually take a chance and join this club, or that gave me the inspiration to actually think about start opening my own business, or doing something I love, or turning my hobby into a business. So that's really cool. And also like letting people know that, okay, once you've gotten to a certain point of success, whatever level of success you think success is, because success is a personal and a mindset thing, because my success can look totally different from your success. So letting people know that, okay, once you got into a certain point, now it's time for you to pour back into your community, and make whatever your huge goal, your huge dream, not only beneficial to you, but to your family, your friends, your community, and just the world.
So getting other people inspired is your drive, and what's keeping you going.
Yes, the motivation. Yeah, I would say when I go out and speak and share my story with others, and hear the feedbacks and the emails and things like that, like I think that's amazing when they hear my story and they're like, oh my goodness, like you inspired me to open my own business, or to start thinking about my future a little bit earlier, instead of just waiting for college, and get involved in my community, or getting involved into a business program, or just a program in general. I think it's really amazing too. So
It
I feel
is.
like that's
It's amazing. Yes. And I love, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the show, because for me, my show is my way to motivate people to take action and just go for it. Right. I mean, even if
right.
you're afraid and you have fears and you have doubts, just go for it. I mean, if all the entrepreneurs that we have here, including you, you doubted yourself, you had the fear, but you still keep going, and look at you now. I mean, national brand, inspiring other people. And, I'm very proud of everything that you've done. And I
Thank
wish
you.
you, I mean, you're headed to big explosion in the future too. I mean, you will keep growing, and hopefully we get to do a TED talk soon together or something like that. That would be amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sweet. So changing gears a little bit from your story to what I like to call the hassle round, where we are going to play a word game. I'm basically going to throw a word at you, and whatever pops to your mind first, the one single word, you're going to give it back to me. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Hustle.
Hard.
Work.
Hard.
Employee.
Okay, work came to my head first, but I'll think of something else.
Okay. That sounds fair.
Employee. Time.
Boss.
Money.
Rules.
Non-existent.
College.
No choice. No, no, I'm joking. No, that really is my word. No choice, because I really don't have a choice.
Fear.
I keep thinking of phrases instead of words. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And that's the hard part. I mean, do your best. If you can't, just throw the phrase.
Challenge. I'll say challenge.
That's a good one. Weakness.
Weakness.
Yes.
Netflix.
Hey, let's keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Strength. I think that's one of my weaknesses too. Strength.
Family.
Motivation.
Parents.
And last but not least, books.
I need to read more.
That's awesome. Great. Very cool. So to all the hustlers that are listening to us right now, can you share a little motivational hustling quote to get them inspired? Maybe they're on the fence on quitting their job and just go after their dreams and build their business, or maybe they already started the business, but they're not at the point where they want to be. What would you tell them to motivate them to keep pushing and keep going and keep hustling?
I would say whatever you're doing right now that is not inspiring you every day, or setting or giving you that burning fire in your heart that makes you want to get up in the morning and be like, oh my goodness, like, even though it's 5:30 in the morning, I have to get up to go to work, I'm still really excited to see where the day takes me. If your job or what you're doing is not giving you that sort of passion, that sort of drive, like, oh my goodness, and it's to the point where you're just like, oh, I'm just here just to get a paycheck, that is not the job for you, and you need to stop what you're doing and start something new. Start something that you're really interested in, and something that you're going to have fun with. Not to say that's going to be fun all the time, but something that'll keep inspiring you and give you that passion and that motivation. Do something that you love to do, where work doesn't become work. It doesn't seem like work to you.
I love it. I really love it. Well, I mean, thank you so much for being here. To everybody that is listening today, is there any way that they can follow you around, or look what you're doing, or connect with you?
Absolutely. So you can follow me I'm on all social media outlets, all at Zandra Beauty. And you want to check out my products, make sure you go to my website, is www.zandrabeauty.com. If you have any questions, you can also email me at zandrabeauty@gmail.com. And yeah.
Sweet. And I'll make sure that I link this on the show notes too, to all the hustlers that are listening, so they can just go to thehustleshell.co/TSH20. And I'll put the link there to sandrabeauty.com, and we'll link it to everybody that is listening. They can go there and connect with you.
Awesome.
Well, I really appreciated taking the time to talk to me and to help me inspire all the hustlers that are listening to us by sharing your incredible journey, how you started at 9 years old. And you're probably the youngest CEO I've never met. And I love the opportunity to have you here and allow me to share your story and go a little bit about your struggles, ups and downs. And like I said before, I mean, I wish you the best of success out there. Hopefully I get to meet you in a TED Talk soon, or something related. But I wish you the best, and thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing. Thank you.
So there you have it, hustlers. Everybody that is listening, this is a super great example that age is not a barrier for anything in life. Doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, you can start at any point in life. As long as you're living, and as long as you can hear, and as long as you can breathe, you can start a business. You can go after your dreams. You can go after your passions, just like Zandra did. Okay. So it was a real pleasure to have you here on the show today. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you tune in to next episode, as we will have another amazing story on our episode 21. Okay. Keep hustling.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the Hustle Show audio experience. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And even if you didn't, make sure you subscribe to the podcast right now. It's still free. Visit thehustleshow.co for all the show notes and to watch the video experience of this episode. We'll see you soon.